G'day scrappers. Well, got some giant TVs here ready to scrap out. I've got quite a big pickup of TVs. I've scrapped all the small ones out and I just going to take these to the recycling centre. But before I do that, I want to scrap out these giant TVs and just see what we get out of them. These days in flat screen TVs, there's just less and less. There's only a couple of small boards or 2 or 3, and that's about all we're getting. Gosh, I'm almost starting to miss the old plasma TVs where they were just loaded with circuit boards everywhere. And oh well, those days seem to be over. So what I got here, I might as well do these as well since they're here. This is a 70-inch Sony, and then we've got a 75-inch Samsung, and then we've got an 86-inch LG Giant. So this would take up an entire wall, and you'd need a pretty big lounge room for this to sit in, because you wouldn't want to be too close to this giant TV. I don't see the point in having something this big, but then again, it would be pretty awesome watching sports or even a good movie on it. You'd really get into the picture. So obviously this one's way too big to bring in onto the table or anything like that. Even these are getting too big, so I might just start off with the 70-inch, then the 75, and then finish off with the 86-inch. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use these tubs here, how they're sitting there. I can easily slide the TV onto it, and that's a nice base to scrap. And then when I'm done, I take them straight into the van there, ready to be taken away, because I just want to get rid of these straight. So let's go. Let's start scrapping. 70-inch Sony first. I reckon the Sony's going to be the best one as far as circuit boards. Then will come the Samsung, which is also good quality, and this LG. It's probably a cheaper brand, and so the boards won't be that spectacular in that. And I believe that this one, it's kind of like an entry-level giant TV. So these sell here in Australia for about $3,000, probably a bit less now, but this model's starting to get old anyway. So there you go. So I reckon this Sony here would have cost more than this LG. Yeah, and that's actually quite a nice size, 70-inch. I think that's about as big as I would ever want. All right, let's go. Let's start scrapping. Okie dokie, we've got the Sony. What is that? KD70X 6700E. 70-inch Sony. It's probably the best quality one out of the 3. I've undone the screws because you don't want to watch me undoing screws. And here we go. Now, massive TV, Sony, good quality. What do we expect? I'm expecting something pretty decent. Here we go, guys. You are joking. Oh my god. Well, we got plastic, lots of plastic. This is incredible. Look at that. We got one little mid-grade board here, barely 25-cent value. One low-grade board that's doesn't have much weight to it anyway. Couple of little copper coils here, tiny little bits of aluminium capacitors, and we got the T-Con board here, and that's it. Sure, there'll be finger strip boards running inside that I'm not even going to bother trying to dismantle and get. Wow, how's that? Look at all this. Blank. Wow, and can pretty much guarantee that this TV, being a Sony, it would have been here 3,000, you know, probably 1,500 bucks in America. But where's the money? Where's the value? Obviously, we're paying for technology and the idea of having a big TV, but this wouldn't cost any more than a smaller version of this. I don't see where the $3,000 could possibly be. So someone's doing all right out of this. Now, no doubt, if it's $3,000 here retail, there's transport and there's profits for the retailer and all that, but this is unbelievable. So there you go, guys. For those that are finding TVs out street scrapping or something, and you're wondering, oh, maybe I'll take this big massive TV home and I'll get some good stuff out of it, you know. Well, that's all you got. We don't even have $1 worth in scrap value here, and that's including the wire. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. So so when it comes to picking up e-waste, unless you're getting paid to take this stuff away, it's just not worth dealing with, because there's no value. I mean, the wire, you don't even have, what, not even 10 cents worth of wire, 5 cents worth of wire here. Low grade board, not much weight at all. Mid grade board, virtually nothing. And a T-con board, you know, they would value that. If you wanted to repair this TV and buy a brand new T-con board from Sony, they'd probably charge you $400 for a brand new T-con board. And what is it? It's just a piece of fiberglass with an IC chip on it, a few MLCCs and some copper. So, wow. But hey, I actually got paid to pick these up, so to take these away from my house. Otherwise I wouldn't have done it. But it just goes to show. Oh, here we go, we've got a little card here. Tiny little gold fingers. Hey, we've got a little bit of gold recovery. That is, that's, you know, if I was selling these TVs and manufacturing it, I'd be embarrassed if I saw this on video with a scrapper opening up and showing what's actually inside it. Saying, geez, you know, we should make bigger boards just so it looks like we've spent some money on it. That's, there you go. 70-inch television, giant, and probably one of the, there's more value in the plastic than anything. Oh, I've got a bit more wire. Oh, look out. So there we go. So I'll put this back together and chuck it into the van. So if that was the Sony, which I expected to be the better quality one, I'd hate to think what this 75-inch, what was it, a Samsung, is going to be like. Hopefully it's a bit better. And then this big LG 86-inch giant. Wow. Let's check out this Samsung next. All right, here's our giant 75-inch Samsung, the UA75 RU7100W. All right, the funny thing about this one is it doesn't have any screws, so they've even saved money on well, it looked like that was just for the stand. No, it doesn't have any screws. It's popped in. So there you go. I'm pretty sure it's popped in. Yep. Yeah. How's that? They thought, how are we going to save a bit of money? Oh, I know. Don't put any screws in it. That'll save us another 10 cents. Here we go. Wow, look at that. Massive piece of plastic. Yeah, it's just got all these little rivets. They just pop into these holes. But check this out. Wow. Couple of speakers, and even these days the speaker sound is terrible. They want you to buy the sound bars, ribbon wire. It's really interesting and funny how technology has just totally changed so much in just a few years. I don't even know. No, I can't even see a T-con board. There must be one hidden somewhere, or it might be part of the finger strip boards. And it doesn't look like, there isn't even any screws holding the boards down. They're just clipped in. Nope. God, they're so brittle now. Well, there you go. Hey, gosh. I don't even know how they got away with not even putting a bit of copper in there. Just a tiny bit. The heat sinks are just virtually nothing. Not even worth depopulating anything off this. Just throw it straight into low grade boards. Wow. It's just so amazing. And there's the your main board, just a mid-grade board, virtually got no weight as expected. I mean, I was doing the smaller TVs and the boards weren't much smaller than that. There's really not much difference. So the power board certainly was smaller. But wow. So not much of a scrap here, not much to really show you like the old days or even the plasma days where it's, oh, look at this board, look at the size of this board. Now, so yeah, for those guys that are street scrapping and things and looking for scrap on the street, wondering, oh, you know, should I pick this sort of stuff up? Well, it's up to you. If you want to have a bit of fun carrying around a big TV, yep. So I can get these finger strip boards because they're not even screwed down, so yeah. Oh well, we actually got a little bit extra value out of it, but even the flashing here is, it's very light. It's probably not even worth going for the gold recovery on these finger strip boards, but I'll keep them anyway. And well, they've done quite a clever design without the use of any screws. Like, it's the first TV I've ever done where the whole back back panel is just popped on, not one screw. There we go. Oh well, extra 5 cents value. Might as well keep these out. There we go, guys. 70-inch Samsung, pretty good quality. Would have been probably around $3,500 for this TV, I reckon. I'm just guessing, I don't know. I don't buy TVs very often anyway. I'm assuming it's just gonna all pop back on. All right, guys, Samsung 70-inch scrapped. Okay, Well, that's in the van. That's these two done. Got other ones that I've already done. And this big printer. Everything that I'm picking up lately seems to be giant. So this printer just come from a school today. Taking it straight to the scrapyard. Got stuff everywhere at the moment. That's why I've got to get rid of all these TVs. These are all scrapped out already, ready to go. Now, LG 85-inch mountain. I'll get this up. I'll prepare it. If there's any screws, I'll undo them and we'll scrap this out and call it a scrap. Right, so the LG 86 UM 7600 PTA. 86 inches of television goodness. Well, it did have screws and it's actually got a steel back, so at least they've put some effort into it instead of giving us plastic. Okay, here we go. I'm puffed out from dragging the TVs into the van. I don't expect much now that we've seen two supposedly good quality ones. This is a cheaper version, but massive. Let's go. On the count of three. Three. No. Oh, here we go. It's so big you've got to oh wow. Oh my gosh. At least it looks pretty. Yeah, they look brass, but they're just steel, yellow painted steel. Well, the board is a little bit bigger, not by much. The mid-grade board, this is your main board here. It's okay. And there's the T-Con board. Well, at least it's got a, they put a BGA on there. But wow, that's incredible. Unbelievable. Okay, well, there you go, guys. It seems no matter how big the TV is, the only thing that gets bigger is the TV itself, the screen. Everything in here doesn't really change. And so you know, so if you're thinking, oh, surely I'll pick up this 86-inch TV and surely I'll get some good boards out of it. Well, now I know for sure that it doesn't matter what model, they don't really change, and they're very low in scrap value. So if I'm ever called for domestic pickup and they've got televisions any bigger than your standard, you know, reasonably standard 40-inch, say, got to start charging them a little bit extra, you know, because we can't, I mean, otherwise let them get rid of it themselves, because geez, it used to be okay, you know, residential pickups I'd charge $10 to do and I'd take away as many as they had. But in those days, if they were, oh, well, I got a little zap out of that. If they were flat screen TVs, they were plasmas, or, you know, early versions of LCDs that had some good stuff in there still, we could get a few dollars value. But here, the future of television scrapping is almost non-existent. I just got to get a little screwdriver for that. Yeah, we can pretty safely say we can kiss LCD TVs or any kind of modern televisions goodbye, as far as trying to get value from them. Now it's a matter of The only way you're really going to get value from picking up a TV is if they pay you to pick it up and take it away for them, because you wouldn't even cover your own. Oh, that's the first time I've ever been zapped. There's actually power on this board still. How's that? And it's a brand new TV. Maybe they've tried to plug it in, but there's power coming from, I think, the base of these capacitors. That's really weird. So to save anyone else getting zapped, there you go. So this capacitor here, there's power in there. So I'll just disconnect them from the board. Oh, the first time I thought I got a bit of static. I mean, it's not the sort of thing that's going to kill you or anything, but yeah, I thought there was a bit of static, and I thought, oh, a bit of a zap. I've done literally thousands of TVs, and you know, everyone used to tell me with the old style CRT screens, oh, you know, there's residual power, you're going to get zapped. No, never been zapped. And the first time, and probably the one and only time I'm actually going to do these capacitor. I've got to put these aside. I'll just put them here for now. But yeah, one of them is was holding power. And now they got me kind of scared. Because even though it's not a strong zap, it just feels weird, you know. All right, well, there we go, guys. I wish I could have opened this up and said, wow, check out that, check out the size of the power boards, check out the main board, wow, look at all the gold pins and fingers, and look at all the wire running through it. No, it's just it doesn't. These can get to 150 inches wide and big or whatever, and they're not going to change. The boards don't have to be anything spectacular anymore. All the power's in, you know. Here's the T-Con board, you know. Really not much to it. Sure, this chip might do wonders for the 4K resolution and all that, but yeah, obviously the money is in the shipping of this, the whole logistics of it, the design and the technology. But as far as material is concerned, I have to admit, this steel backplate, out of all the TVs that I've done, from LCDs, you know, flat screens, this is about the strongest, heaviest duty one. All the rest are so thin, they just buckle under their own pressure. But there we go. Wow. Yeah, and even if I do pick them up and get paid to pick them up, I'm not even going to bother opening them up anymore. Now that I know what's in them, now that I know that, you know, that's all from the first one. Oh, sorry, from this one. 86-inch TV. This was the 75-inch Samsung. And the 70-inch Sony out of all of them. In fact, it's the smallest board, maybe because they got the better technology, they don't need a bigger board. But the Samsung, yeah, you know, it looks a bit different. It's more like this one. Wow, there you go. 3 giant sized TVs, and to be honest, not even $4 worth of value here. Actually, barely $3, not even $3 scrap value here, guys, from 3 massive TVs. So that's got to tell you something about the future of some kind of scrapping. Anyway, my battery's going flat. Am I at 0? I've got a few seconds left. So yeah, that kind of tells you what we're going to be expecting. And e-waste recycling is becoming more and more condensed, and unless you're dealing with the big companies and getting, you know, hundreds of tons of this kind of stuff from them every year, for the smaller recyclers, it's very hard to do it in a way of picking up e-waste, especially for free, and then relying on what value you're going to get out of it. And the same goes with PCs and everything. They're getting less and less value in PCs. A lot of them even aren't coming out with hard drives anymore. It's just SSDs. So they're just a little circuit board inside a plastic box. So the only way forward for a lot of smaller e-waste recyclers is to try and recondition electronics and sell them and make a little bit of money that way, because scrapping them right down, it's just becoming less and less. And I'm glad the big recyclers have got machines that can process this. At least they can run them through the machines and yeah, get all the, you know, plastic and steel out of it. But yeah, very little value. Very surprised that, you know, in this massive TV, that's all we got. Right, I'm scared to touch this again, but I've gotten rid of the culprits, the 3 capacitors. It was just 1 capacitor, so it must have been a faulty capacitor. And to be honest, that was probably all that would have been wrong with it, because the guy that I got him off, he couldn't get these working. But the front screen is actually crashed, or crushed. So that would have been the problem too. But yeah, amazing. All right, guys. Well, I hope that was a little bit of fun and a little bit informative for you, for those guys going out, especially those scrappers on push bikes, thinking they're going to chuck this up onto a billy cart and wheel it home and say, hey, look, honey, look at the size of this TV I've got to scrap out. Oh, don't worry, I'm going to make good money out of it. Well, you know what? You're probably not. So best to leave them and go for the, you know, your better stuff like computers and geez, even you know, pound for pound, DVD players and Blu-ray players. You know, pound for pound, you get 10 times more value out of a DVD player than you do out of a flat screen TV. But that was the last one, so I'm glad I finished now. I'm going to load the rest of these up into the van, get rid of them, and then start filling the rest up with some scrap metal also. Just as I was yapping along, my battery went flat, so it's probably just telling me that I've been going on too long about it already. But yeah, so I'm just going to screw this plate back on and be done with it. So yeah, guys, that was an amazing eye-opener. So hope some of you's got something out of this one, and hopefully the next thing we scrap out is a bit more interesting, a bit more fun, and a bit more value. All right, guys, well, keep scrapping, have fun, and I'll catch you soon.